Doc, they are saying even when you acquire land irregularly or illegally, we are taking it back without compensation.
Of course.
That is improvement.
But if you, Malema's analogy, if I found that you stole my car, you'll not say, but unaniachaje bwana. Si unipe hata nusu ya hii gari.
Nipe lift. Nipe lift kidogo.
I mean,
at least give me a lift home.
Right. So that is why the issue of compensation is even silly to discuss. Illegal and compensation, they don't go together because you have title without entitlement. Yeah. That is the South Africa conversation. We are far from there. BBI don't touch any issue on the historical land. Now, finally, even those reports, remember TJRC, there are some members of TJRC Commission who refused to sign the chapter on land because somebody somewhere decided to remove some names.
Yes.
Last minute, remove some names from that TJRC land chapter, and we had honorable people who said, you know what, I am dissenting on this chapter because metoa nani. But still it was better. So look at it. You know, if you came and you found a young man growing and there were 6 inches, and then you come 10 years later and you find they're 3 inches, you can't call that progress. That is very bad. That is what this BBI is doing.
And I think, and for me, Doc, you raise another very fundamental point in constitution making processes. When you are making a constitution of a country, there ought to be one common denominator. It must serve the people. There has to be a benefit that accrues to the people because it becomes that contract we call the social contract. So there has to be a benefit. If there is no benefit to the people, then that cannot be a constitution. It cannot be a social contract. So even as we make this constitution, even as we propose to amend the constitution, the question that we must ask, a fundamental question on the table, is what is the benefit that will accrue to the people? You know, it's not about what accrues to individuals or people leading the constitutional talk or constitutional narrative. That for me is a prerequisite. If we cannot do a cost the benefit that comes to the people, then it's not worth our time and our money. When we were promoting Punguza Mzigo Kenya last year, I was able to demonstrate to the county assemblies and to the country that we will save about 3-something trillion Kenya shillings when we address things like corruption, we reduce commissions, we reduce over-representation, and then we are able to take that money to education, to healthcare, to infrastructure, and Kenya will be truly a united country. We're able to say that in the 1450 wards of this country, if we take money equitably to the 1450 wards, and they all develop based on priorities in that ward, then you will achieve what is called inclusivity. And it's possible going forward that you achieve a nation state. Right now, as we are, Bitok, wacha kudanganyana. We are just a conglomerate or an assembly of ethnic tribes that pretend to be a nation. We just found ourselves accidentally in a geographical location called Kenya. Na hatuna country ingine ya kwenda.
Tuko hapa. We are to stuck.
So we cannot say that we are a nation state. A nation state is united on certain fundamental issues. That you will not allow some section of your society to suffer and others flourish. And this has been the history of Kenya. And that's why there is so much political violence every election year. Lazima mtu wetu aingie. The idea of mtu wetu aingie bunge or presidency is so that we can now steal from the state.
It's our time to eat.
It's our turn to eat. That's a very wrong narrative. Even and unfortunately, BBI has bought into that wrong narrative. That let's expand the executive, because if we expand the executive, we from say a popular tribe will come on board. It is the idea that we will steal from the state to benefit our own. We need to carry each other together. You know, that's why we must apportion resources equitably, but ensure, for example, even in the remotest part, and Doc has, has lived in the US. Doc can tell you, in the US, it does not matter how remote a state is or a county is. It has the basic facilities. It has the post office, it has education, it has health, it has, you know.
I remember one time my car hit was destroyed, couldn't work. I didn't have key to the house. I had to call the police to bring me warm blankets. Yes,
That's
and
a service.
within 5 minutes, they were there, and I was being taken. I was covered. Are you okay? I was put in somewhere warm as they took care and defrost my car. I mean, that is service.
Ingekuwa hapa leta polisi ataniletea blanketi.
Simu huko Todonyangu huko tu.
Atanisaidia blanketi, gari imeharibika kwa barabara.
Wacha atasaidia blanketi. I'm under attack.
Right.
Sema tu kuna naona
I'm fighting Uganda.
I'm fighting Uganda.
On your own.
Utaambiwa weka mafuta Land Rover. Weka mafuta, tume ya mafuta Land Rover.
Kwanza utaambiwa bwana. Yeah, exactly. Utaambiwa tuma mafuta.
Land Rover haina mafuta.
And let me tell you, that's a very
ulikuwa unafanya nini Uganda?
Service. When you are in a nation, in a country, and you can enjoy service, regardless of your color, your ethnic identity, then we can talk of a nation state that we all belong. We can talk of a country that we are all proud of.
And I like that regardless. Sio ile ya president, ile regardless. Because that is not regardless. And
By the way, there's nothing in
differences.
grammar called regardless anyway.
Well, actually, regardless has since become an English word.
Oh,
it's
really?
actually it's like a Brooklyn. It started as a Brooklyn lingua. It's finally actually an English word. Irregardless. You can check it out.
No, but let's just stay in the narrow and straight path. But actually, you see that lane delivering signatures.
Regardless, Vero Kenyans.
Regardless of our differences, so let's just do it.
Asubuhi na mapema taking BBI to Lodwa. Can you imagine? Delivering BBI.
Yeah, haijapeleka mask. Anyway guys, as we
hajapeleka mask, hata ile free tulipatiwa na Jackma. Hajapeleka these government sanitizers in the villages. But
wacha tusikie watu wanasema. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Jambo.
Mzuri sana.
Sema haraka upesi.
My name is Victor.
Yes, Victor.
I'm calling concerning the transfer function. I feel that the BBI doesn't address when they speak of the 35%. I think the BBI should. The Constitution was clear that for every county to prosper, the devolution was an aspect of growth in every sector of this country. So telling Kenya that you're transferring 35% of the revenue of resources, yet you're not transferring function is a lie to Kenyans. I think we should address what does the panel think about the sweetener of the BBI Constitution by putting 35%.
All right. Asante sana ndugu. Thank you so much for that. Have a good day. Appreciate. Na Wakenya wanajuanga Kenya wanasema, lakini sijui ni ugonjwa gani kana kianga kwa debe. Nasikia kuna kapepo kanasikia kanaingia kwa mapuu, unaanza kuchizi, unaanza kuandika vitu zako.
Especially group imelazimishwa kusign signature.
Ndio mbaya.
Ndio itapitisha BBI.
There's something that happened yesterday. There are three things that happened yesterday. Wanyorosha. Ngoja ndakunulia nyaunyo. Kazi yako tu ni kunyorosha wa Kenya. There are things that happened yesterday. One of those things is a statement from Ekuru Yatane, the CS for finance, and supporting the budget and preventing the economy from crashing is our main priority. We borrow to support the budget. Underline. We borrow to do what? Support the budget. Support the budget and prevent the economy from crashing is our main priority. We borrow to support the budget because revenue is either limited or not there. I will be dishonest if I say everything is okay. We are in a state never witnessed before. The drastic reduction in revenue and the performance of the economy is a concern. I like one thing about Somalis. They don't lie. Nakwambia vile iko. Nakwambia waria. Haiwezi.
I mean, it's a Gabra.
Yes, wherever they come from. And I mean, the thing is, the question is, guys, this is a statement from a man who handles the accounts of government.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. He's telling us the only thing that we are now actually we're on life support.
Even
but we feel
even went to say brace yourself for tough times.
I mean, what's your feeling?
Let me tell you, if we don't grow our own economy, if we don't industrialize, if we don't invest wisely, even if we borrow, you cannot borrow to support an economy that's not growing. It is nonsensical. In fact, I disagree with him. I wish he was telling us that
Will you allow me to pick it so that we can? Okay, it's an international call.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Hello.
Your call will be recorded.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Gerald.
Yes, tuambie, huyu nani?
Huyu ni Gilbert.
Yes, Gilbert, tuambie. Haraka upesi.
Yeah, I'm calling from Colorado.
From Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mahali Ojwang alitisha blanketi polisi.
Yeah, this place is beautiful. But you like those are basic stuff like you need to get, you know.
Yeah, so sometimes I like when I'm here, watching the news here, Kenya, I feel so bad when I hear those people talking. Now people are dying in hospital. You don't have masks. You don't have students are in school. Like, you don't get the basic stuff, food, health. Yet they are roaming around, sending chiefs and everyone to go and sign something. And they force people to sign it. That's the worst thing. So when I listen to them out there, I feel like crying. I feel bad. Yeah. So I don't know. Kenyans need to style up during election year and think. They need to think before they go to vote. And I think the best thing about we need to find a way how to educate people a year before election. To tell them to vote on issues, to vote on. Usipige tu kura kwa sababu ya kabila, usipige kura kwa sababu sijui nani na nani. Piga kura kwa mtu mwenye atakusaidia ama mtu mwenye atakusaidia kwa maendeleo,
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
All right, asante sana. Thank you for that. All right, I think that's the calls we'll take today, so that I also don't waste your time. We have almost 10 minutes only. All right. All right, please pick it up, Aukot, where you had left it. I apologize for that.
Okay, I think I must have lost my trail of thought. But I was just saying that, yes, I was saying, you see,
it was the state of the economy.
Yeah?
Yes.
The
minister should say.
You see what the minister should be telling
go beyond,
us.
yes.
It should go beyond telling us that, we borrow to support the budget. You see, our own budget must be homegrown.
Yeah.
And for you to have a budget that is homegrown, you must be able to demonstrate the investment in the economy. How are we industrializing? Are we creating jobs? We cannot just borrow. And I think what Ukuru Atani also missed to tell us yesterday is how much in debt are we? How much debt do we have right now as a country? People keep saying, I don't know, either we are 6 trillion or 7 trillion. We need to know. And what is the recovery formula that we have put in place? By now, I would expect Ukuru Atani to tell us, even because of COVID-19, we are sending a team to whoever we owe money to restructure that loan, even in the long term. By the way, there is no country in the world that does not have a loan, even the United States of America.
The responsibility is different.
But it's how we negotiate. I think, again, I go back to the point I made earlier. We say that we are one of the most educated countries in sub-Saharan Africa. But how come even our best economists cannot renegotiate the kind of loans? Our loans are so punitive. And that's why we cannot even grow, because we are paying so much money to lenders. And that's why other services suffer, like healthcare. I mean, if you look at, for example, the impact of COVID-19 on a number of issues, not just health. Look at how COVID-19 has affected the education sector. Look at how COVID-19 has now brought to the fore the need for us to make information technology, IT, internet, a basic need. Employment, job opportunity. How do we secure jobs? Right now we should be talking about having in this country an employment insurance. When if you lose your job, there is an insurance, a cover that at least will cushion you even for 6 months, 7 months before things happen. You lose a job now, you actually just begin to die. So those are the kind of conversation I think the minister really should be telling us. To tell us, first of all, are we new in Kenya? See, we've been borrowing. We've been borrowing all the time. We are not new. Kwanza with this administration. This administration middle name is borrow.
In fact, even the CS himself has said we are borrowing to sustain the economy. He has accepted that you actually borrow.
Yes. But why can't he tell us exactly what policy measures have they put in place to actually even cushion the economy? For example, the 7 million small, medium jobs that have been lost because of COVID-19. Is it then worth, this minister should tell us, is it then worth to allocate 14 billion for a referendum that is even divisive in the first place, that is dishonest, that is unconstitutional, that is amorphous, that is repetitive, that is directionless? You allocate 14 billion to that referendum. But you cannot tell us, I can use that 14 billion to save these small businesses that have collapsed, because these businesses are actually feeding Kenyans. These businesses will probably generate taxes. BBI, spending 14 billion in BBI will not save taxes, will not generate any taxes. Unless Daktari, there's a miracle that will happen. But because I know if I today invested 14 billion, and I'm not a businessman, I'm happy to be a lawyer, but I know if I invested 14 billion in the economy, that circulation will somehow generate some business, generate some taxes that go back to the state. But I put 14 billion into BBI, it's just throwing it into a bottomless pit.
All right. Dr. Ojwang.
Yeah, I think that...
Are you worried?
About the economy.
The statement by Ekuru Atani, and he's the same guy again who will sign off the money for BBI or for referendum.
Of course, because you remember even before COVID came, we were doing very bad. In fact, people felt that, serious economists felt that we were living in an artificial world. Our currency should have been devalued. The real economy was bookkeeping. It wasn't reflecting the reality on the ground. Majority of our economy, about 40%, is informal, and it has been hit hard. COVID have just added to a bad situation. Our worst situation has become very, very, very bad. So that is the reality. You know, other places, our government are reaching them with vaccination. Here we are being reached by signatures or to sign. It is ironical, and it takes a lot of very good nerves to do that to somebody and expect them to not be angry. That people are being reached with masks, people are being reached with vaccines, you are being reached to sign. And the argument, so then this ties Bitok to the argument of things can wait. That the priority then is that changing the constitution is not urgent because the economy is very bad, because COVID is there, because there is nothing so innovative here. But the counter argument on the other side is, you know what, post-election cannot wait. So, and I've seen some tweet and similar. Somebody saying, you know what, Ethiopia is on war or whatever, and it is almost a threat. If you don't pass this BBI, I'm going to make sure that there is no peace in 2022. I'm thinking that for whatever it's worth, BBI could wait. We don't have, the process is bad. We talked of how the government is managing it. We have all the other challenges with even provisions. At the end of the day, the reason Kenyans fight is because of the big house. And Aukot said it. We have one big house in the country where everybody goes, and if you are there or proximate to it, you eat well. The farther you are, you eat less. And so why are we even surprised that Kenyans are tribalist? If my name... thieving culture. That thieving culture. If my name determines whether I get a job or not, then it is obvious that I will also logically vote according to that name. If my name determines whether I get a commission or not, my name determines whether I get a tender as big as KEMSA tender or not, then it is obvious that in the ballot, I will also behave according to that name. Because, you know, we say function follows money. Tenders follow voting. And if I get privileges based on my name and my region, then logically I'm going to protect that.
You're going to behave like a...
So finally, I'm thinking that as Kenyans, of course we have been on our own for a long time, but I like the option you are bringing. I've always felt it's not enough to always come to a show like this one and others to simply lament and simply ask, how bad did they treat us this time? Oh no, this is shameful. Oh my goodness, oh no, they didn't do it again. Oh my, what? I think that is a tired narrative.
It is.
Where we are going, look at the pedagogy of the oppressed. There is no slave without master.
That's true.
There is no politician without supporters. There is, and by the person who was saying there's no slave without master.
There's no farmer without donkey.
right. There's a person who was saying there's no slave without master, was saying that the thinking of slave will always make them a slave. And the thinking of a master will always make them a master. So that if you find yourself in that slave master, where you are being given BBI without caring that you don't have a COVID mask, is because as a slave, you must do slave things. Yeah. And master must do what master do. And this is a master thing. And slave will also do what slaves do. That book and that quote is saying that there is some thinking. These functions are there. And the moment you have assumed one, the other one is legitimized. Yes. And so if you refuse to be a slave, then there will be no master. But as long as you are a cow or any variation of the domestic animals, there will be a master who will tell you, this is the right thing, do it now, pass it for me now, and it can't wait. And the guspa, by guspa I mean the audacity. We say in Doluo wang matek. Wang matek ni jicho kavu. You know, you can just go to the public and do something and pass gas and not apologize. Wang matek. This wang matekness here is coming because slave role is not to question the master. So if master have negotiated and said, Mr. Jones, you are going to work in Mr. Jones' farm, Nest Farm. You say yes, sir. You say yes, master. Yes, master. You know, the slaves, the good slaves, even knew in their language to say, when the master is sick, to ask, master, are we sick today? They're not sick, they're slaves, but they're
also on the field.
Are we sick today? Yeah. Master, what, you know, the way we do in the houses, maybe, you know, you have this maid, and you ask them, what are you feeding us in this house of yours today? You know you are using the word sarcastically because it is your money. You know it's not their house. In this house, what are you feeding us today? You know they didn't buy the food. It is almost the same thing. So I want to finish with that word that there is no slave without masters. Okay. And if you are the slave that you are, then be the most flamboyant slave. I don't know the nini, but don't complain when the master do the master things. These are master things.
Behave like a slave.
Be the slave. Be the best slave that you can be. Because if we talk of democracy, haven't this cow chose to be a cow? Isn't that a democratic choice?
The decision.
I have chose to be a cow.
Yes.
So why are you saying I'm not a
my
cow?
decision.
I've chose to be a slave.
I cannot say that you are a donkey when you know you are a cow.
No, don't I have a right to be a slave if I want to be a slave? That is democracy.
So, all right, there's someone on the line. Just a minute. Hello. There's someone who's been sitting on the line. Yes, how are you?
Yes, I'm okay.
Sorry, I've held you online for a long time.
Yeah, this is Mahmoud, your friend from Mombasa.
Oh, Mahmoud vipi?
Salama sana.
Mahmoud Nur.
So leo, yes.
Leo
nimeona salama na shukuru.
It's been a long time. Habari ya siku.
Nashukuru hatuna neno, tuko sawa kabisa. So I just wanted to contribute,
yes, please.
And I would agree a big deal on what the previous host there was talking about. Because I'm looking at the situation in Mombasa right now.
Yes.
One, when you go to public hospitals, because in my position as having a community, I receive a lot of calls and people want support. Others are actually, when they give you the symptoms, they're actually COVID patients, the temperatures, everything. But the reality is, if they go to a public hospital, at the moment it's not functioning because people are on strike.
Wow.
Or when they go there,
strike is coming.
It's actually like sending them to a place where they will not be helped.
Kama kuwatuma kwa kichinjio.
Ndio. And then when you go to a private hospital in Mombasa here, without a deposit of 500,000 or 1 million shillings, you will not be served. So where is the average Kenyan? And the average Kenyan includes the middle class. Hata mimi saizi kunilazimisha niweke 1,000,000 nitatoa wapi? And a lot of people will consider me kuwa I'm a privileged person.
Yeah, sure.
So there is real problem, but I do not want to blame the leaders today. And that's why I'm agreeing with the previous speaker. Because the problem, the politicians have seen what Kenyans want. A majority of Kenyans are cheerleaders. They enjoy this kind of life. And right now, I'm telling you, whether it is a governor position or president position, they will never look at merit. They will never look at the best candidates. They are not interested in good leaders. And I think this is what pains me, because even come 2022, I really don't think whether a majority of Kenyans are interested in good leadership. That is a big lie. They only talk about it on Twitter. That is why even now, as we speak about COVID issues, where in other countries presidents are almost going home because of the way they handle COVID. Here, you say people do not want BBI, but I've seen even here all over the country. They come in flocks to come and sign those papers, regardless whether they've read it or they've not read it. So the politicians are not stupid. They know what their people want.
So they know they're dealing with slaves.
Yes.
Slaves are doing their slave things.
Yeah, and even if you look at the formations that are happening, the people who are in the hustler nation, they will follow Ruto wherever he goes or whatever he says, whether there is merit on it or not. So it is people are just they are in mirengo flani, regardless of whatever happens. I don't know when, because it really pains me. I don't know when Kenyans will start making decisions based on issues. But if you ask me and you tell me it will happen in 2022, it's a big lie. Because I deal with a lot of even young people, people as young as 20, 21, and their thinking is the same. So unless we start building a generation at a lower level, probably put a foundation and instill values and a different mindset, then we expect changes in probably 15, 20 years. But trying to think that you can just come from somewhere and you sell very good ideas and you think Kenyans will support you, on the kwa ground huku ni tofauti.
Mambo ni different.
Bado yule mwenye pesa na mwenye jina kubwa ndio bado anaweza kusway watu.
Asante sana Mahmud. Thank you so much. Kwa siku njema, natumai kukuona tena Jumatatu. Thank you so much bro. Salimia watu wa Mombasa. There's an insight coming from this guy. And this guy is a very serious guy, by the way. He's works in government. So it's not a joke.
But I feel Mahmoud's pain. I really feel his pain. And na tuseme tu kweli. Tuseme tu tuna ujinga fulani kwa hii nchi, tukubali.
Ufala.
Tuko na ufala, ujinga, sisi ni matapeli.
Shenzi.
Sisi ni washenzi. Tukubaliane tu kwamba tuna ujinga fulani, na hiyo ujinga ni part of our identity. Because itakuwaje leo hii ati serikali inakuambia kwamba ukipatikana hii janga la COVID, hata hiyo NHIF au utatumia. Insurance company ndio hizo zimesema kwamba you are on your own. Even if you have got say a 20 million or 10 million inpatient cover, they say no, they will not cover it. And the government is quiet about it. Every government now in the world is concerned about the health of its citizen. They are doing all they can, including even now ordering for vaccines. Already there are countries like England where they have already even emailed people to tell them what time to come for vaccination. So really, na sisi wa Kenya bado tunawafuata tu. We flock those gatherings to sign for this BBI. Me, I will say this to you as my tackle of the day, Bitok.
Even before you go, umeongelea maneno ya ujinga. Nataka tuongelee ujinga ya vijana. Ujinga ya vijana. Jana gava imesema the government is planning to triple university fees.
Yes.
Triple university fees.
Imagine.
In 2021, reduce the HELB disbursement.
Exactly.
Wapunguza HELB. Now they're telling us they're going to give us memorandum.
Yes.
Memorandum or
moratorium.
Whatever it is, or memorandum, whatever, I don't care. The question is, and we have a lot of young people who are singing and saying, okay, we must pass this thing. Where is the reality?
Sasa kwanza,
you know? Utuongea ujinga vijana.
Sasa hapo ndio kuna ujinga zaidi
hapo.
Hapo ndio ujinga imekolea. Yani ukiangalia tu vijana hivi unaona tu ujinga inatembea. Hata kama
potable ujinga.
Watembea. Kwa nini?
Moving foolishness.
Wanasema wanasema ati we are the most populous in a country.
Sisi kama vijana.
Sisi vijana. Sisi ndio wengi katika mitahani sijui nini. Vijana ukiangalia sasa hizi 70% of unemployment in this country in affect vijana. You know? Vijana cannot even borrow. In fact, this wazees, ndio ujue vijana wako na ujinga. Hao wazee wana create hizi inaitwa nini? Youth fund. Alafu wanaambia vijana mu-apply. Alafu vijana wanaambiwa kuje na collateral. Collateral hauna. You know, hata maybe bundles hauna za kutosha za ku-apply online. Na vijana bado utaona tu ndio wako kwenye rallies. Vijana ndio bado watachukua mayo kupiga vijana wengine.
Yani, na kwanza mbija bwana. Mmoja alipiga mbija karibu na mimi. They know how to do this mbija thing but
so the truth be told, kama kuna watu wajinga katika hii nchi na katika hii generation ni vijana. Because vijana ndio wanadanganya mwaka nenda mwaka rudi. Kwa hivyo sisi ni wajinga, sisi ni mafala, sisi ni washenzi, sisi ni ng'ombe,
slaves.
Sisi ni
slaves.
Punda. Sisi ni slaves. I don't even know hata adjectives zimeisha. Lakini bottom line, vijana tuna ujinga.
And you know,
because vijana today wakiamua, doc, if vijana today wakiamua, wakierevuka tu even for 1 minute, even for 1 minute, watasema hii BBI ni ujinga, potele mbali.
It will be done.
In 2022 watasema sisi sasa tunataka serikali ya vijana. Because wataenda kwa debe, watapigia serikali ambaye hao wenyewe watachagua hata kijana mwenzao. Kwa nini vijana wachaguani hata mitahani?
And you know,
alafu vijana hii mambo ya handouts atujio mzee sasa unatuachaje?
Kujijenga.
Amenijenga. Utatujenga. Sasa unatuachaje mzee? Hata nakwambia mzee wewe unaongea sana.
Tumaliza na story
tujenge.
Hiyo ni ujinga. Tangu lini handouts ya 10 bob sijui 100 bob hata ukibahatika inakujenga wewe? Inakujenga kivipi?
Doc, vijana, the vijana. You know what?
As you combine it to your tackle, then when you handed to Aukot.
You know, these vijanas are still waiting for Raila, an 80-year-old man, to save them. And they have nerves to complain how this 80-year-old is abusing and molesting them. With their BBI, they are the ones who go to the chief camp and are saying they are forced to sign, and they are calling themselves and have nerves to complain that Raila have done his shares. Raila has been in jail for you. Now it is up to you to also speak up for yourself or forever remain quiet. The level of entitlement in this generation, the entitlement, where they feel they are owed in something. When people like Paul Mwite and even Nani were fighting, even Anyang' Nyong'o, I don't blame them when they take their rest and say, I'm tired of my street days.
Yes.
Who is going to run? Orengo cannot run anymore in the streets. And then the so-called vijana cannot simply withstand a signature kwa chief camp, kusema chief, I'm not signing that thing.
Yes.
But they are very active to plan serious parties and save their money for drinking sprees. These are the same people who, when you talk to them, they feel their ignorance should have equal forum and equal opportunity, just like your knowledge. You know, ukisema one sentence, hata mimi niseme one sentence. Notwithstanding that I'm ignorant, but why do you think your knowledge or you being knowledgeable is more important than me being ignorant?
Yes.
My boys, so that watafutwe kama tunafanya BBI, tutafute mali ya maboys wakuje wa rap. Wewe tukisema devolution haihusu vijana, hizo sio mambo yetu. Nyinyi kazi yenu itakuwa ni when we talk of vijana.
I'm expanding the executive.
Yes.
Usikaribie maneno ya executive.
Executive sio kazi yenu. Independence of judiciary hiyo sio ya maboys. Sisi kama vijana. Bwana. I mean it is, you know, we sing one song in our church, prone to wonder, Lord, I feel it. These are the people who are prone to always wonder. So as I conclude,
we need to sing that song.
Prone to wonder, Lord, I feel it. You know, it is not a competition, vijana. We are not competing for who is the dumbest. They have turned it to a challenge. Because when you think
it's a Jerusalem challenge of foolishness.
When you think they have come with the most dumbest thing, they almost reinvent the worst. It is not a competition. This is a country where we have Yeah, the Jerusalem challenge dance. You know, one song has become now the sensation, and everybody with their mama is now Jerusalem challenge. Notwithstanding Corona, notwithstanding Okuru Yatani saying the economy is collapsing, notwithstanding the danger imposed by BBI, people are still doing their jigos and they're happy with their challenge. You know, one thing that make law, and in jurisprudence, if law don't have a concept of common good, if law does not have a concept of the general welfare, then the lawness in the law is not there, because law cannot be a personal thing. It's not your piggy bank. It is not something.
There has to be a common good.
It's not something. There is no common good in this BBI.
Yes.
It is blotting the government.
Exactly.
This constitution, we the people, cannot be something that when you do handshake, you go and you turn it to your marriage certificate to solemnize your handshake. It is belongs to the people, and the people must arise to protect it. Thank you.
Now, part of my tackle will be to challenge people like Ochieng Ogor. Ochieng Ogor, one of our listeners, is saying to me, Ekuru Aukot was overambitious to go for the presidency. Should have gone for gubernatorial. I want to tell Ochieng that is part of the ujinga we need to ondoa. Because to be honest with you,
Upuzilization.
exactly, why are we saying some individual must be president, others must be governors?
Yeah.
In fact, for how long have we left this space to those same people? I wish Ochieng Ogor,
And that's why they're not selling us expanded executive. They're selling us the help loans and all that.
Exactly. I wish Ochieng Ogor will tell me, actually, I'm fit to be president of this country, and I want vijana wanipigie mimi kura. You know, this thing of pigeonholing people, yet we have also seen, because honestly, I meet all the qualification for president, probably even better than all these guys. A few of these guys want to be president. I think tuache kujipiga. We are always putting ourselves down as vijana, saying that we are not able to do these things. For me, I will tell Ochieng Ogor, it's not a matter of life and I won't die. It won't kill me if I don't become Kenya's president. But what continues to kill me, Ochieng Ogor, is us sitting on the fence and complaining about how these people are duping us, are lying to us, and we are doing nothing about it.
The silence of our friends.
The silence of our friends.
Yes.
And to Ochieng Ogor, I will remind him this. Since I was, I think, in nursery school, if my recollection is right, we were told that you are tomorrow's leaders. Vijana, tuliambiwa sisi ndio viongozi wa
That's what
kesho.
tomorrow has arrived.
Tumenini? Tumemaliza nursery, tumemaliza primary, tumeenda high school, tumeenda university, tumeoana, tumezaa watoto, bado tunaambiwa tumekuwa
Sasa
wazee.
bado ngojeni kesho.
Mimi kama saizi hata ungeangalia madini
Umekanyaga 50 na bado naambiwa kesho.
bado naambiwa kesho. Mimi si kijana. Yeah? When is this tomorrow coming? So I want to challenge vijana. Let's stop this thing of saying we are tomorrow's leaders. We must arrest tomorrow and make it today.
Wow.
Because our real life struggles are felt today. The struggles about employment, the struggles about education, the struggles about health, the struggles about just survival. We are feeling them today. So this thing of being told ngoja mpaka kesho ndio kuwe kiongozi, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. We must become leaders today. Lastly, as part of my tackle, I want to say, Bitok, BBI is not a matter of life and death. It can wait. But COVID-19 and its devastating effects is a matter of life and death.
It's actually a matter of death only.
It's a matter of death, actually.
Yeah.
Not even life and death.
It's a matter
So
of death.
we must prioritize in this country. What must we prioritize in this country? And let's stop supporting a process that is just duping us and avoiding the most important things that make us human beings, that make us people worth of calling ourselves Kenyan. Thank you so much, Kenyans. Have a good weekend.
All right. Thank you so much. The two doctors. Now I had doctors. I had D square.
Yes.
Doctors all over. I was surrounded by doctors. I appreciate the conversation we've had and the wisdom that we've shared. The tacklers as well. I really apologize today I was not able to read out the comments kwa sababu hii kitu ilikuwa imewaka sana. Singeipea nafasi. Thank you so much guys. It was a pleasure to have you. Tunashukuru sana kuwaona kila siku. Please continue supporting us. Let's keep pushing these conversations and have it better. Kwa vijana maridadi pia. Thank you so much Maridadi Motors. Kwa kazi mwere pia. Unaona hapa badge niko na Maridadi Madari Motors, Ekuru madaktari, kama unataka gari kimbieni pale Kiambu Road Madari Motors. Kama unataka pia kawash kuna Sparkling pale
Tapata
Kiambu.
pesa bwana kununua.
Utakosaje? Tafuta pesa. Wanaume ni kutafuta pesa.
COVID imetunyoa.
Imejonga watu.
Imetunyoa.
Okay, nitakuwa tu sawa. Let's keep praying. Well guys, thank you so much. This is a tackle and the tackle ends now.
Ndio wako na pesa.
Sasa tuingie BBI tupata kakitu. All right. Thank you so much guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy. This is a tackle and the tackle ends now. Bye bye. We love you.